Welcome to part 3 of our series on non-covered pensions. I'm Matt Johnson with Social Security Education Center. Today we are talking about, hey, how exactly does this have an effect on me? How do I calculate that effect? Part 1 of this series was exactly what is the Windfall Elimination Provision, what is the government pension offset, and what does it mean for me? Part 2 was, hey, if I don't have a pension, but I do have a 401k or a 403b, 457, how do I figure out what the effect will be then? And this part 3, what we're talking about today is specifically how do you go look at your earnings history, look at your pension information, and then calculate what the effect that will be on your Social Security from Social Security Administration website, okay? So we're gonna have lots of fun today. Okay, so there are really gonna be 3 steps to what we're gonna talk about today, okay? So the first step is you need to gather your information from your non-covered pension. And you really need to know, hey, when are you gonna turn that pension on and how much is it going to be on a monthly basis? Gross of taxes, how much is it going to be? If you're gonna take a lump sum or if you have a 401k, we have to convert that to a pension, which is what we talked about how to do that in part 2. Second thing you need to know is you need to gather your Social Security earnings history from SSA.gov. So you need to create a My Social Security, go and I'm gonna show you real quick here how to do that. So when you get to, you need to know your earnings for each individual year on record. So when you get to your Social Security, this is My Social Security, you're gonna see this is what the page looks like. You're gonna come down here to where it says review your full earnings record now. You're gonna click that. And what that's going to take you to is your earnings record here. Now, if you were to scroll down here, you would be able to see all the years in your earnings history. Now, one key difference here between these 2 columns, taxed Social Security earnings, taxed Medicare earnings. Now, if you're a teacher or a state employee and you're not paying into Social Security, your income for those years where you didn't pay into Social Security is just gonna show as a 0 here. But for Medicare purposes, you did still pay into Medicare. And so your income will show over here in this column. So when we do this next calculation, we're going to use the numbers in the Social Security column, okay? So make sure you're distinguishing between those columns and using the Social Security earnings. Okay, so the third step to calculate what effect this will have on you is to actually compute the effect from the WEP GPO calculators online, okay? So I'm gonna show you how exactly to do that. We're gonna go to ssa.gov/benefits/calculators, and we're gonna find the WEP and the GPO calculators. All right, so now that we have your pension data gathered, we have your earnings history from Social Security together, we're gonna go to this site, ssa.gov/benefits/calculators, okay? So you can come here, you can see a whole bunch of calculators that SSA has to play around with. Real fun website if you're a nerd like me. So we're going to go here to this Windfall Elimination Provision calculator, the WEP calculator. The other calculator relevant to this topic is the GPO calculator. Okay, but let's go to the WEP. And so we come in here, you can read these directions, but then we just basically start inputting information. So you need to put in your date of birth. I'm just using a random person's numbers here. You need to put your age at retirement. So if you are working, paying into Social Security right now, you will put the day, the age that you expect to be when you retire. If you are working, but you're not paying into Social Security, like say if you're working as a teacher for the state, then you will just put the age at which you think you will start Social Security here. Probably use today's dollars here, just to keep it simple. Here's where you need to put in your non-covered pension amounts. If you're a teacher and you're going to turn on your pension at 65 and get a monthly benefit of $2,100, that's what you need to put in here. If you have a 401k or 403b, 457, and you don't have a pension, you need to convert it into a pension like we talked about in part 2 so that you can put a number right here, okay? And that's the number. In part 2, we'll show you, we show you how to do that conversion, and you'll use that number right here. And then what you do is you just start going through and plugging in the numbers from your Social Security. Now remember, when you see your Social Security earnings, this is the Social Security from Social Security, okay? Social Security paid into Social Security, not earnings paid into Social Security, not earnings paid into Medicare. There are two different, the actual columns are called taxed Social Security earnings, taxed Medicare earnings. You're going to use the taxed Social Security earnings column, okay? Because remember, if you're a teacher, you work for the state, you're not paying into Social Security, but you are still paying into Medicare. We want to make sure that we're using the taxes for Social Security. And we come down here, and earnings in 2024 covered by Social Security. So if you're now working at a Social Security job, what do you anticipate making in the year 2024 and then beyond? Okay, so this is going to basically in 2025 and later, if you think, hey, I'm going to make 70,000, you plug that number in. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. You can't, distinguish, I'm going to make 70 this year, 30 the next year, 30 the next year. You have to just come up with an average. Then you come down, you hit calculate your benefit, and then right here, your monthly retirement benefit. This is the amount that you will get from Social Security. Now, to know roughly what the benefit would be otherwise based on your Social Security, we can come down here and say, okay, so your surviving spouse at full retirement age would receive a benefit of $1,080. That would be your full retirement age benefit if you didn't have the effects from your non-covered pension. That's a reduction. It looks like that's the full reduction of $587 right there. So that's how you see that difference. So that is how we compute the effects of the WEP. Okay, guys, so if we come back here to this calculators page from SSA.gov, instead of going into the WEP, we go into the GPO. So if you want to know what the effect will be on a spousal benefit or on a survivor benefit, you come to this GPO page. Now, I don't know why they did this, but this first section is going to essentially reiterate what the WEP calculator told us. So if we enter in $2,100 as a monthly pension from the state, your benefit payment might be reduced up to $587. So this is just saying it could be reduced up to $587. On the other calculator, we were able to plug in all of our actual earnings, and we saw that yes, it was going to be reduced by up to the maximum of $587. Okay, this just shows worst case scenario. Now, if we come down here, though, where it says for survival or for spousal and survivor benefits, we plug in our pension amount down here. Again, this is pretty simple. You don't really have to do this on the calculator, but it just reduces it by 2/3. So 2/3 of 2,100 is 1,400. So your spousal benefit or your survivor benefit could be reduced by 1,400. So again, they will compute the effects of the WEP and the effects of the GPO, and then depending on what the end number is based on your own work record or a spousal or survivor benefit, they'll give you the higher of whatever is available to you, okay? So that is the GPO and the WEP calculators on the Social Security site. Okay, how fun was that, huh? Awesome. Now you know how to compute the effect that your non-covered pension, your non-covered 401k or whatnot will have on your Social Security. And you can go in and do it on your own, okay? So what we've been over, we did part one. What is this whole thing? When does it apply and how does it affect my Social Security benefit? Non-covered pension. What if I don't have a pension, but if I have a non-covered 401k, 403b, 457? Today we talked about how exactly to calculate the effect. And then our final part 4 will be the history legislation. And is there any way to avoid this? Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you on the next video.